Come out firing, come out flying.
You got to get on these guys early. Let them know who's in charge of the game and execute.
5 players that have now over 30 points on your team already halfway through the season.
You set the standard. You don't play on anybody else.
All gas, no brakes.
Virginia Tech has never won 8 in a row in program history.
4 seconds, 3 seconds, and the Hokies will walk out of New Jersey on a 7-game win streak.
So let's talk to Kyle about Denison for them. 17-3 this weekend.
Kazai driving in. They score! The Bronx fall 10-3 to the Virginia Tech Hokies.
He's shooting, he scores! Dynamic duo straight again. And it goes in.
Taken out. That one fired and they score.
This shot score! Saved by Cook. Plays the
Kazai on a wraparound and he scores!
Good evening and welcome into the Virginia Tech Hockey Network. I'm Kyle Bean, joined alongside Finn Trainer, and we've got a great one coming up here tonight. It's the Virginia Tech Hokies and the High Point Panthers here to kick off the spring semester, the first ACCHL premier game of the new year. Now, welcome into the Lancerlot Sports Complex. Once again, I'm Kyle Bean. He's Finn Trainer, and we're really excited for this one tonight. Such a long break between the two semesters. We finally get to break it with another game of some ACCHL hockey.
Yeah, I have been counting down the days until the next game, just waiting for every part of this. I love it so much. It's the best thing in the world to be able to watch these guys play and also hang out with Kyle, too. That's pretty cool, too.
It's a fun time here in Vinton, Virginia, and finally getting off the break. As we said, it's been a long time. Both teams with a lengthy hiatus, especially the Panthers. They haven't played since November 22nd.
Yeah, that's a big break for any team. I mean, even for a professional team to take as well. You have such a long time to get a little cold. And that's where we kind of look in to see what team shows up faster today. That can kind of tell how the rest of the weekend's going to go. If one team shows up really quickly, makes a goal in the first period, makes a few goals in the first period, you can tell who's really been hitting the weight room, who's been skating on ice a lot more as well, and that can be the deciding factor between a win or a loss for either team.
And when you look at both squads, you've got to think about the Hokies' losses currently right now. J.H. Lagas is overseas in Europe with the ACCHL M2 Select team, the first ACCHL Premier player to ever get that honor, and just what an experience for him. They just played Game 4 of their 5-game series this morning, and currently the team's sitting at 3-1.
Yeah, they've been playing really good out there. They lost to the Czech team, but then they ended up playing a lot better in the next 3 games, and they put on a really good showing. I know Lagas has been playing really well as well. He's starting, I think, in the 5th game that happens tomorrow morning. I was about to say tomorrow night, but I guess it'll be morning for us. And to really think about the numbers here, there's probably around 6,000 M2 players in the league in the United States, and to be picked as one of the 38 players to go to the Euro game, that's like a 2%, maybe even less chance. So it's an incredible honor for the Virginia Tech program and as well for the ACCHL or ACCHA Premier team as well. That's really awesome to be able to have a guy going out there to Europe as well. It'll be a little interesting to see how the defense plays here without him, but we're, of course, really proud of him.
Yeah, the Hokies will definitely need someone to step up to fill such big shoes here tonight and this weekend. But looking across the rink at High Point, jumping up from the Elite Division in the offseason, and they've found a lot of success this year so far. 12 wins on the season.
Yeah, they've played a really solid game whenever they play a lot of different teams. They have had some really big wins against teams like Liberty. They played really, really well against UNC as well. But the teams that they've lost to have been teams like the D3 Delaware teams. You can kind of see a little bit of inconsistency here and there that High Point definitely wants to fix when they come into this new year.
And one of the big players for them, Jack Slayton, is having a fantastic year.
He's got 16 goals and 12 assists on the season already, and that number keeps climbing. He's third in the Premier Division for M2 players, just in the rankings of all the players in the division. And so he's playing really, really well, and he has a lot of really good skill. You see the speed that comes from the guy. You see the stick skills as well, and he's just really, really hot on the ice.
Slayton, certainly a big factor in High Point's success so far this season. But now let's transition. We're introducing a new quick segment into the pregame. It's the Beach House Bar and Grill Hot Take. So, Finn, what's your hot take for the game tonight?
I think my hot take is going to be 4 goals scored in the first period. I know that sounds weird. We just talked about how both of these teams might have a slow start, but I think someone's going to come out. Maybe one player might get a hat trick in that time, but I think 4 goals in the first period. That's my hot take, my Beach House Bar and Grill hot take.
Well, you heard it right here. Hat trick watch in the first period, apparently. So that's quite the hot take there, Finn. But we'll see how things get going here in just a few minutes. We've got puck drop coming up at 7:30. You won't want to miss it. Join us right back here. Good evening, folks, and once again, welcome into the Virginia Tech Hockey Network. I'm Kyle Bean. I've got Finn Trainer right here beside me, and we're getting ready to kick off 2026 in the ACCHL Premier. It's the High Point Panthers here to visit the Virginia Tech Hokies.
Couldn't think of a better way to start off the new year than with hockey. Saw it a little bit with the NHL, saw it with a bunch of other things as well. This will be a really fun night for us.
It should be a good game as well. Both teams really competing for some seeding as we get close to the end of the regular season. Just a couple more weeks until we head over to the ACCHL tournament for some playoff play. Currently, Virginia Tech sitting at second in their division while High Point is at fourth, but both are very close in the Southeast region rankings, 15 for the Hokies and 17 for the Panthers.
Yeah, that disparity between them is so close that even one win, one loss tonight could even change that, especially going into the rest of the season, depending on what teams each side is playing. Tech is playing Ohio next weekend, and that could be a big win or a big loss that could really change a lot of seeding. So these games right here tonight and tomorrow night mean a lot more than some of the other ones that either team has played.
It's going to be very important for regionals as we get this one going. The Hokies take it. It's Brian Rice in the back. Leads the pass up to Gavin Peduzzi, but an icing on Virginia Tech right off the bat, and we'll take it the other way for the Panthers.
That was quick. Already an icing call, but it seems like, not even an icing. They're just going back to the center.
All right, well, we'll do it again from the center dot. Peduzzi wins it for Virginia Tech once again as they push it up the left side. Cam Kazai kicks it in, and the Panthers quickly get it moving the other way. Now High Point moving up as Ian Key gives it a cover up here at 1936. Key currently tied for first in Virginia Tech history in goalie wins. You can see we've got the graphic up here on the screen. He's tied with Tony Wolak currently at 31 wins. A win tonight would put him in the lead for the Hokies all time in goalie wins. About 30 seconds in, Teo Lanigan kicks it up the right side, and quickly the Panthers come up with it. Circle around their own net and dump it back. They're trying to get settled in on offense as Virginia Tech looks to keep it in. Far side, it's Austin Hearn battling through defenders, kicks it down low to Tulo, who bats it around. Now it's Lanigan on the near side board, sends it back the other way. Tulo looks to recover, but the Panthers there to spoil. Some fancy moves there from Richard Bova. Looking to get it through, and the captain does it for the Panthers. Getting started off quickly, it's Andrew Welch.
That was a nifty move right there. A little bit of breakaway, some sort of communication issue there between the Hokies not getting back as quickly as they needed to. And he was just able to just scream pass through the center and get around Ian Key, and that's a tough save for any goalie because you have to make it so that you're not being beat on that near side.
Tough one for Virginia Tech as High Point comes out hot, but now it's Trevor Kellogg dumping it up and around the left side. Zach Stewart fighting in there for it right behind the net. Couple of bodies tumbling. Finally, the Panthers come up with it for a moment. Lakin Glessner tried to push it up the side. Now it's Sasso near the far circle looking for the centering pass. It's batted away up to the top of the key. Zach Stewart down behind the net, hit into the boards by Joe DiMartino as the Panthers come back up with it. DiMartino behind, pass up top. It's whiffed on by Glessner.
I'm surprised that even went in. There were so many bodies in front of the net that just managed to just go through 5 people.
The Hokies finally able to clear the puck, and the Panthers quickly recover it back on their own side of the ice. We're about 2.5 minutes in so far with one on the board for High Point. Back behind the net, it was played by Vieira. And now the Panthers once again trying to work up that left side, but it's spoiled there by Valiant. The icing waved off for the Hokies. Ian Key was looking for it, as now Tech is forced to try and clear once again, just across by D'Antona. Key played it behind his own net to Cray there, battling with the defender. Finally leaves it off for Brian Rice. Pass off the boards, was looking for Cray, couldn't quite get it. And the Panthers get it moving back the other way, quickly taken away by Ewan Andrew, who's playing on the top line for Virginia Tech tonight. Brian Rice back, and the Hokies get this icing. We'll bring it back here with 16:40 left on the clock.
DeCray had a really big hit on Matthew Hudges right there in center ice as he was going off. No call there, as it was really clean just in the lower part of the back that was able to continue. So definitely trying to settle the game down, but also show.
Peduzzi ripped one for the corner. Ewan Andrew tried to stuff it through on the rebound, but Vieira holds strong in the net. Now Teo Lanigan giving chase all the way back around. Took a shot into the boards, but the Panthers lost the puck momentarily. Now Peduzzi was battling there, and Sullivan comes up with it, kicks it up to Peduzzi, who passes it off to Andrew. Pass off the glass, misses the mark to Cam Kazai, and the Panthers get it moving the other way.
That pass from Ewan Andrew was
tough one in front of the net. Cam Kazai just missed on the backhand as he worked left to right. Now Austin Hearn had it taken away. On the push, it's Jack Hutchins with 5 goals this season. Andrew Welch swung it around the boards to A.J. Bugan. Now up top to the point. Back over to Welch on the far side. He's got 2 defenders battling. Gavin now trying to work it past Bugan. He was kept in on the skate of Josh Weig, as Tulo just tips this one in. Kept in momentarily by Hearn, but the Panthers once again pushing it the other way. A nice shot there by Drew Cray, able to take away the puck and get it clear for the Hokies. Hearn, he's got Tulo to his right, leaves it off, but it was taken away there by Andrew Welch in the right spot at the right time.
We're seeing a little bit of nerves from the Hokies as some of the passes aren't connecting that you'd see them normally make last year.
Coach Mullen said he felt like the team had a really good couple of practices early this week, as there's a tough shot on the Hokies number 16, Jacob Wachtel. But Coach Mullen said he felt like the team skated really well. They looked fresh. They looked like they didn't take the whole break off. They stayed in good shape.
Yeah, and you can still see that their conditioning obviously is not bad at all. They're still skating with the puck. They're not looking tired out there, but there are some moments where passes should be connecting.
It'll take a second to knock the rust off as the Hokies work it up the left side. DeVivo swung it around the boards. Now DeVivo landing a hit there as Zach Stewart's able to keep it in. Far side to Cameron Anderson. And now it's Sullivan. Lost the puck there to Nick Sasso, who jams it through once again. Panthers up 2-0.
That was just a rip from the dot, just straight past Key over his glove side as well. Just went right over into the back of the net, and that was a fast shot. We know Sasso has more assists than he does have goals, but he can still rip it. We saw a lot of that during the showcase whenever we saw a few of the High Point games. As they played really strong when it came to those further shots than some other teams.
That'll make it 8 goals on the season for Nick Sasso, one of the top players for this High Point Panthers team. We mentioned it earlier during the pregame. They've had a lot of success after moving up from the Elite Division into the Premier Division, currently 12-7. They had 2 big wins against Liberty to start the year, and while the Flames didn't quite know who they were as a team just yet, those are still quality wins on the resume that's definitely helping their rankings.
That's a look that Marshall Campbell is hoping to get back. He was right there on the doorstep of the goal of Veriri, and it tipped right under his skate blade, and he wasn't able to actually get it by and in.
Ewan Andrew not able to land the pass there. McLeod has his shot deflected as the Hokies try to keep it in the zone. It's taken across by Colin Carey, who goes across the blue line and dumps it back behind the net for his teammate. Tied up along the boards for a moment. McLeod trying to free it for Virginia Tech. Now along the far boards, Ewan Andrew swung it to McLeod. Couldn't quite land the pass. Jack Hutchins, a cross-ice pass, gets into the boards. Now it's Andrew, kicks it up to Kazai, just barely keeps it onside and dumps it in the top right corner.
That was beautiful. We were talking to Coach earlier before the game, and he said Ewan Andrew and Cam Kazai, their freshman year, that was their line. They played together for a really long time, and we saw almost a little bit of that chemistry with a very similar thing where a long stretch pass from Ewan Andrew goes to Kazai earlier in the first. Didn't connect, but now it did, and you can see a little bit of that chemistry coming back. With Garlock gone, Ewan Andrew stepping up into that position, we're already seeing it pay off.
That's a big one for the Hokies as they stop the bleeding here in the first period at 12:30 from Cam Kazai. It's 2-1, Panthers in the lead. Brian Rice gave it to Cray at the point, who ripped it. It's deflected away by a bunch of players in front of the net. Now, Finn, you did have quite the hot take during our pregame. You said 4-goal first period, as I believe there's an offsides, but we've already got 3 and we're not even at the halfway point.
Yeah, my hot take originally when I was thinking about it was going to say that there was going to be 4 goals in the first 10 minutes, but then I got scared, and I should have gone for it. We'll see what happens off of this face-off, but already a lot faster scoring. I think both teams are coming out hot.
High Point looked like a speedy team at the showcase over at the St. James in Springfield, Virginia. They played some quality games, had a couple of big wins there. Now the Hokies trying to keep it in. Hearn collects at the red line. Cross pass to Tulo, and Sullivan just had it pushed across the line. It was tied up in front of the Panthers bench as Gavin now ripped one off the shins, and now commotion in front of the net. The Panthers lost it off the skates as Lanigan's not able to keep that one in, just barely crossed the line. A breakaway opportunity for the Panthers, but Joe DiMartino sent it into the glass.
That puck almost goes in, but I think he got a little bit of a knob on it, so it deflects wide. And we're seeing Key settle down a little bit more. He's making a little bit more stops that we're used to than those first 2 kind of weird, quick goals from High Point.
Kellogg dumped it around, and now DiMartino pass off the glass to get it clear. It's recovered by McLeod. Working up the right side, somehow DeVivo was able to stay on sides as now the Panthers begin taking it the other way. It's poked away, McLeod dumps it in, and the Hokies will bring on some fresh legs. Panthers back behind their own net, swinging around the near side, now chipped up to the neutral zone, and it's recovered by McLeod once again. Back behind the net, Valiant able to come up with it. That puck knocked away by Vieira. A quality save on the far side, just able to hug the edge of the pipes. Far side to Cray, kept it in for Virginia Tech. Centering pass, couldn't find home to Valiant. As the Panthers send this one straight into Key's mid.
Those were two really good passes by the Hokies deep on practically the goal line for both of them, just barely not getting through or just glancing off their mark. Campbell has two really good attempts there, two really good shot opportunities that I think he's going to connect on one of them.
He had a couple of big games at the St. James as well. Marshall Campbell has had a great couple of weeks to end that fall semester. Now the Panthers up in the near side corner. Kick it up into the neutral zone. It's Peduzzi able to keep it on sides. Vieira deflected it but couldn't hold it. And the Hokies not able to collect the rebound. Kazai in the near corner. Rice from up at the blue line somehow threaded it through.
I actually had a perfect viewpoint of that as the puck went off the tape of Brian Rice. It just skipped over one of the defenders for High Point's stick and went right up, danced on the pads of the goalie, and then just tipped right under the 5-hole and in. That was unfortunate. That was an unfortunate bounce, and 4 goals in the first period.
I believe you and Andrew got a stick on it to jam it home. Yes, it was Andrew, number 42. Rice and Kazai will get the assists as Austin Hearn tries to battle around Landon Albano. Far side now, it's Ringstad. Was taken down by Hernan Tulo. Tulo came up with it, shot off the skates, and then another one ripped by Sullivan. It's Hearn behind the net,
Whoa.
tied up. We've got a penalty incoming on the Panthers.
I was about to say, we've seen that penalty not be called sometimes, and so it's a good one to see that there.
And there's the whistle as we'll get our first Hokies power play of the new year.
And that's an easy call for the refs to make. They're going to call that a roughing. Oh, they'll call it actually holding instead, as the Panther got the arm around, I believe it was Gavin Now, and just pulled him down to the ice.
Albano will head to the box for 2 minutes. It's to Cray up at center ice, now to Peduzzi. The Hokies got a big boost to their power play numbers over the last couple of games. They had a few big ones against Ryder back in December. They were able to convert on a bunch of opportunities in just a messy game with a lot of penalty minutes served.
Yeah, there was 105 minutes served for both teams combined, and 4 power plays for the Hokies.
DeCray held off, tried to get it around the sliding Panther, but just shot wide to the right as Peduzzi bats this off the stick of Joe DiMartino and out of play.
Yeah, the Hokies had 3 power play goals that night, and they also racked a short-handed goal as well, which is a lot nicer for their stats, as they kind of were lacking some potential on the power play and the penalty kill. They were struggling a little bit throughout the season, and so it's good to see them actually solidify themselves into that spot. The Panthers' penalty kill is still 67%. They're really, really strong on that. They've only allowed 12 goals in the 37 times that they are shorthanded, so not bad when it comes to their actual percentage when it comes to penalty kill.
High Point takes the face-off approaching the 7-minute mark. And Sullivan will collect it behind Key, pestered by Andrew Welch. Able to take it away momentarily, and then the Panthers come up with it for good.
That was beautiful defensive stick lifting from Sullivan there as he was able to just tie up his man at the point, making sure that there was no easy garbage goal there.
Tulo battling in front of the net. And Key will play it back. Up the right side, Brian Rice. It's played there by Vieira behind his own net. Now Tulo collects the pass, a bit too soft as Donahue recovers. Now up the far side, Glessner trying to dance around, but Key able to punch it out and away. And it looks like we've got a tripping.
Yeah, Sullivan will get called for a tripping there, but that's a hard thing to do, especially when a player crashes the crease like that. They're trying to just strong-arm their way across the blue paint and get their way to a position where they can just tip the puck in. And that's always a really hard thing to defend because you're trying not to draw a penalty, but you're also trying to stop the guy as he's got a full head of steam going towards your goalie.
So we'll play 4-on-4 here for a little while. And now it'll be High Point with the advantage as that puck sent out of play.
Almost hits Sullivan. This is where the penalty kill numbers of Virginia Tech being at 64 is actually going to help them here. They've had a lot of attempts with the penalty kill, including, again, that shorthanded goal against Ryder. So we'll see what they can cook up here, if they can actually get anything going. But High Point's power play sitting at 31%. That's the struggle for High Point here.
It was a risky pass for High Point in their own zone, especially with Cam Kazai lurking. Leads the Hokies all time in shorthanded goals. Nearly able to take away the pass. This one ripped away off the blockers of Key into the near side. Up at the point and looking to thread it through. Key able to cover it up. The shot there from Jack Hutchins.
And that's vintage Key right there. That puck goes through 4 other people, and he's able to just trap it right in his body and let it just sit there, and he knows he has it. There's no looking behind him. There's nothing. He knows exactly where it is, and so that was really impressive for Key there to make that stop, especially on the power or the penalty kill.
Gavin now with the puck, not quite able to clear it. It was Hutchins camped at the blue line, able to keep it in. Back to Hutchins at the point, swung it to Hughes. Now Hughes working to the point, Key able to punch it up, and Rice will just get it across the line. Hearn aggressively takes it away, but it's recovered by Welch. Andrew Welch, far side, guarded by Tecray, able to poke it away, as Gavin now will swing it back and kill off some time here for the Hokies. Just 30 seconds left, down a man.
Both teams are going to get a much-needed line change there, and we're going to see what healthy legs can really help for both of these teams.
The Panthers on the far side, centering pass to Bova, and Key able to cover that one up as well. Just 11 more seconds on Sullivan's penalty.
That had probably a little bit too much heat than actually was intended for High Point, as the puck just bounced a little bit too much there.
The Hokies able to knock it back. That should do it for the penalty. Now back to 5-on-5. It's been a few minutes since then. High Point dumps it into the neutral zone. Lanigan with a solid shot to take it away. The far side, McLeod speeding up, takes the shot himself. Vieira able to knock it away. Ripped by Lanigan, just a bit to the left, and Vieira covers it up along the near post.
Vieira, he's just now getting up after that entire event happened. He was down on the ground because of so many shots there. That's going to be a tricky thing for High Point. If the Hokies rack up more shots, if they can get the goalie off balance, that could be a very interesting turn of events.
That's one thing that the Hokies find a lot of success with. It's very rare that a team outshoots Virginia Tech. Far side, they keep it in, now back below the net. And it's High Point now on the push. It's taken away by Campbell. And into the zone. Solid team defense there by Virginia Tech. Campbell once again with the takeaway. As Moore brings it across. Had it poked away by a defender in purple. Now it's Peduzzi at the red line. Takes it into the zone, leaves it back. It's swung into the center for Campbell. Had it taken away, took it back, feeds it down to Peduzzi. Hesitates, passes it off, and that one once again defended well by Vieira.
Vieira with beautiful stick work there, able to just poke the puck away from Peduzzi, which is definitely not the guy you want front doorstep with the puck there.
I think on that possession, the Hokies maybe just passing up a good shot, looking for a great shot, and not able to convert. Sometimes you just need to take the shot that's available. It's Brian Rice to swing it around the boards. Cam Kazai trying to get it out. Comes up with it, cross pass to Ewan Andrew. Hit the backhand, Kazai swung it around, now fakes the wraparound. And Kazai will recover it in the neutral zone here just under the 2-minute mark. Kazai far side, just a bit high. It's recovered by Brian Rice. And the Panthers able to knock it across the line. It's dumped down low by Albano. Tipped across by Kazai. Here with just under 140 as Austin Hearn aggressively takes that one away. And Tulo battling behind the boards with Ringstad.
Seen a little bit more of a physical game start to appear. A couple of players on both sides drawing a little bit more hits.
Back into the neutral zone. Hutchins passes it back. Now tipped across by DiMartino. And I believe the Panthers will ice the puck. That'll give the Hokies a good opportunity here with just 1:05 remaining.
We've seen the Hokies score with this much time and time again. They've done it in the third period as well. We saw that at the beginning of the season. Let's see what can happen here, maybe to take the lead before we head into the second.
Quite the action-packed first period. 4 goals right on the money with Finn's hot take of the game. Far side, kicked up by Sullivan. Looks like Tulo got a stick on it. And Lanigan will recover at the red line. Dumps it down. Tulo giving chase, trying to put some pressure on this Panthers team. Wachtel had it popped up, and Weig was trying to get it cleared. Kept in by the Hokies, a rebound from Vieira, and no Tech player in the white jersey was there to slam it through.
Really good stop there, just able to let it bounce in front of them and control it early. Sometimes that puck will bounce too far off or too far in front of you, and that can become very scary for a goalie.
Solid team defense in the last few seconds of that period. The Hokies able to eliminate an attempt from Nick Sasso. Quite the eventful first period, 2 goals apiece. High Point and Virginia Tech, clearly neither team came out rusty in the new year.
Yeah, both teams seem to have put on their sweaters early and skated over the break and at least practiced some bit before they came here tonight. Both teams scoring back-to-back and then back-to-back for both of them, even in the first 10 minutes. And then defensively, we saw a lot of really good shots be blocked by players and also a lot of big lanes be taken away. Both goalies playing phenomenally as well.
The goalies have been great, but we'll take a 17-minute break. Join us back here for the second period. 2-2, Panthers and Hokies. Welcome back for the second period. A 2-2 game between High Point and Virginia Tech. We had quite the action-packed first period. High Point started off with 2 quick goals, and then Virginia Tech with the answers, thanks to Ewan Andrew and Cam Kazai.
Yeah, both of those goals from either team came so fast. High Point's goals were a little bit more of single effort. They had that first one, which was a breakaway, and then their second one was more of just a defensive push across to get around Ian Key, while Virginia Tech's was a little bit of the opposite, more passing plays to get the puck in, and a lot more tips went in. That's what the Brian Rice pass or shot towards the net, and then Ewan Andrew with the tip in was very strong for that. And then, of course, Ewan Andrews pass over to Cam Kazai and him just ringing the top corner.
Yeah, quite a start from that first line. Kazai and Andrew both with a goal and assisted the other person's goal.
And, I mean, that's the thing that you want to hear if you are a coach for anyone, is having your top line, when you just sub someone back up, and they are the ones who score in that first game.
We'll get things going for the second period. But like you said, that's exactly what coaches look for, and that's one thing that Coach Mullen said before the game. Moving up Ewan Andrew into that first line, he said he played with these guys most of last year and most of his career so far. He was with those guys on their line. He said, expect big things from them here tonight. Far side, Kazai tried to bat it across into the zone. Ewan Andrew battling there, just took a tumble on the ice. Far side, the Panthers miss wide to the left and recovered at center ice. It's Andrew Welch who had a goal early in the first period. Played back by Key. And a battle there behind the net with Tecray and Welch. Now Andrew getting into the mix as well. And Richard Bova. Far side chipped up. It's Peduzzi at center ice. He's got Andrew to his left. Takes it himself. It was gloved by Vieira. Knocked it down, couldn't quite handle it, and the Hokies not able to get it on the loose puck.
That's where the stick work of Peduzzi is so important there, as it had a lot of speed and a lot of force to it, so it just bounced out of the glove. That's a harder stop to make when it is coming out that fast.
Hearn tried to fake left and went to the right, not quite able to get around the defender. He's been extra aggressive on the breakaway here tonight. Panthers up on the near side. Glessner, pass taken away by Hearn. Along the boards, left it back for Gavin now. Now under the net. Tulo tried to thread it through to Hearn, but not able to handle the pass just in front of the crease. In the neutral zone, Glessner took it across, but DiMartino was offsides.
Yeah, the linesman there is definitely looking for that call right there for the offsides. He's thankful for it, as he took a pass that was really, really strong, as it was meant to go all the way around the boards, just right to the back of the thigh. That's not going to leave a pretty mark tomorrow.
Loose puck working in front of the Hokies net. Watchell kicks it back, and now looking ahead for DeVivo. It's back behind the net. Ringstadt played it along the sides. Now Watchell back down below. Looks for DeVivo once again. The pass just a bit ahead and taken away by the Panthers, but Watchell's back with it. Now back to Zach Stewart. Rips one on his own, and that one's up into the netting.
This is where we start to see a little bit of the inexperience of High Point might start to show itself, a little bit less of the discipline. They are a fast team, but sometimes fast teams can be a little problematic as you're thinking about the next step before you even make the first one. As that pass was going, it was a great pass, but you miss the takeaway there, and that's where the turnover came from.
Now it's a 3-on-2 for the Panthers. The pass just off the stick of Teo Lanigan back into the Hokies zone, and that one knocked away by Vieira. Lanigan will have to defend a one-on-one. He's able to allow his team to get back as High Point keeps it in at the blue line. That shot way wide to the right. It was Donahue along the boards as that one's batted in just ahead of the red line. Collected by the Hokies, they pushed it up. DeVivo able to hold on to it somehow. The pass there to Campbell, just a bit to the left.
Again, that's the third really good look for Campbell there, and I'm really expecting.
Loose puck, Vieira had lost it. Took a dive, but just had it poked to his side. Virginia Tech took it away right in front of the crease, and Vieira's got that one.
Yeah, and he's showing that he's got that one right to Marshall Campbell, just shoving it in his face, saying, I have this puck in my glove. That was a scary possession for both teams, as both teams had a little bit of a hiccup offensively and defensively. Vieira able to just catch that right there in the air. Really strong by the goaltender in purple.
Vieira came up with the save, but definitely a risky one. And now a quick one right back to him.
He gets a very similar save right back to back.
Shook it off after the last one. We'll see what the two teams do here in another far circle face-off. This time it's out to Peter Cross. To Cray, not able to keep it in the zone. Pushing up the side, it's Colin Carey. Took a shot straight to the glove of Key. The fast hands coming in clutch for the Hokies.
Both goalies being tested earlier in this second period. Both of them making really good saves on some fast shots.
Near circle face-off. And it's kicked back along the boards. Now up to center ice. Kazai tried to get around two defenders. Paduzzi out to Takare, worked up the right side. The pass to Kazai, and that one's off the money. Incredible stick work by Takare just to get around and land that pass somehow. But the High Point defense coming up strong.
I mean, already Cam Kazai and Ewan Andrew, the two players on the first line, they're already having some tell in this game already. Paduzzi trying to look for that a little bit himself as well, as that would have been a great opportunity for him to shoot or to Cray with that as well.
Tulo tried to just get it around the post. Not able to do so as Hearn will dump this one in. Vieira nearly played it back, but decided to hold off. And Sullivan not quite able to keep it in. Tulo off the boards. Albano came up with it. Now it's the Panthers in the neutral zone. Welch, pass off the boards to himself. McLeod just beat him to it, as the Hokies will play it behind their own net. Across to center ice. It was recovered by Ringstad. Tried to dump it in. And Sullivan with it behind the Hokies net. A pass right in front of the crease and not able to jam that one through. The Panthers now back into the corner. It's Welch. Far side, they just thread it through. Looked like around the left skate of Ian Key. That's a tough one.
Yeah, and he gets the stick down right too late. As he tries to put down the blade of the stick to try and block that puck, it's already gone through and under and just squeaks its way on in, just through there.
3-2, Panthers lead the Hokies on a tumbling shot right along the post. Now it's Zach Stewart through the near circle, defended well by Glessner. And a little bit of back and forth action here. Now it's Sasso, the pass off, knocked down by the glove of Key. And that one will make it all the way across.
Wave off icing there, as I believe High Point was the one who shot it down there.
The Panthers behind their own net. Now DiMartino played it out. DeVivo took it across the blue line, and once again gloved by Vieira.
Lochtel getting his equipment back from Joe DiMartino, as he kind of had him a little tied up there in the corner after the play.
To Cray with a hit right on the blue line. Able to give the Hokies possession. Leading pass to DiMartino, not able to connect. That's an icing for the Panthers. We'll take it over to the right side.
That hit from Takure was excellently played, as he just was able to get enough under so that he didn't draw a penalty there, but DiMartino went down hard after that play, and you could hear a little bit of some weird sounds as his helmet hit the ice.
Valiant at goal line extended, took a tumble into the boards on a hit from Bova. Now High Point swung it around their own net, trying to get the puck clear. Hearn just tried to take it away. It's Brian Rice back in the Hokies zone. And they kick it up to Campbell, up and across. Valiant playing defense as that one connects with the roof of the lot.
I didn't even see that one go to the roof. Every game that we've had, the past 3 ones that we've had here at Lancerlot, the pucks have gotten closer and closer to going towards us, and I'm not sure my dentist is prepared for that.
McLeod up at the blue line, taken away by Anthony Sasso. And a whistle as High Point offsides once again.
We've seen a lot more just minor infractions happen from High Point, where Tech has kind of kept it a little bit cleaner. No penalties so far, though, as we've only seen 2 in the game altogether.
Just a little bit too eager to get into the zone. The Panthers are quite the speedy team. Nice move from Matthew Hughes, spun around and fed it in front of the net. Now it's Ewan Andrew with 2 defenders in the way. Off the backboards, and Vieira played it back. McLeod hustling across and dumped it up for Andrew. Decided to leave it for Kazai, but the Panthers just able to beat him to it. Now it's Anthony Sasso, far circle, left it for a teammate, the shot wide left. Got all the way back to the opposing blue line, and Cam Kazai at the far circle. He was looking for Austin Hearn, took a tough hit into the boards, slow to get up, and he'll head back to the bench. Near side, Sean Moore fed it cross ice. It's Tulo battling at goal line extended along with Hearn. Chipped up by the Panthers and collected by Hearn. Pass off to Now. The Hokies will take it back, look for the reset, but High Point aggressive on the defense. Michael Yell looking for the takeaway. Peter Cross not able to keep it in as we approach the midway point of the second period. Watchell along the far circle had the takeaway, looking for a teammate right in front of the crease, but the shot just made it into the backstop. Sean Moore lifted up from the goal line and gloved again by Vieira.
Both these goalies making it look like they could also be playing baseball. They're catching a lot of really good pucks, and even when they're up in the air, they can wobble a little differently, and that can be the difference between a goal just skipping over your glove or goal just going straight right into the boards.
The Panthers with possession after the faceoff. Bugan took it into the zone. A nice pass over to Welch, but not able to connect on the shot. Now it's far side. DeVivo hopped over it, and off DeVivo's skates now. Taking it into the zone. It's off the skates, and Bugan comes up with it. Now taken away by Tecray. Bugan just stumbled into him, and Hutchins threads it through.
I think there's a little bit of some complication here as the defender, Drew Tecray, was being held down at the blue line, not able to get up and help his team defend that play. But I doubt they're going to call anything back here, and we'll go to another face-off.
Looked like it could have been something, but the Panthers will get their fourth goal of the game, thanks to Jack Hutchins. It's 4-2, High Point over Virginia Tech.
If it's anything like the first period, Virginia Tech is going to answer with two more.
Valiant defending in the corner. Campbell now pinned along the boards by Glessner. Valiant dumped it back down low. D'Antona tried to play it in front of the net, but it's covered up again by Vieira.
Vieira, again, playing really well at the net, but the Hokies getting a lot of really weird bounces toward him, so it's really impressive that he's able to keep his eye on the puck and make sure that it doesn't just go right under anything, any bits of it, his equipment, and he's able to track it the whole way through.
Just across the blue line, the Hokies not able to keep it in off the face-off. There was a big hit along the boards. And now both teams scrapping for possession on the far side. DiMartino was tripped up as he took it out of the zone. It'll be Ewan Andrew into the box for Virginia Tech.
DiMartino not having a very fun night as he's been thrown into the boards, thrown to the ground, tripped now as well. We might see a little bit more cautious play from him as we go further into the rest of tonight's game.
High Point with 2 unanswered goals here in the second period. Now it's Welch in the near circle. Held off for a moment, worked it up to the point, now back to Welch. Up to the point himself, gave it off to Hutchins. Key, rebound off the chest. And the Panthers able to keep it in, but just taken away by Kazai, poked across, and Welch will dump it back down.
And that's the knowledge that Key brings to this being a senior goaltender. He knows what he's supposed to do even when it bounces so close. He knows where to play that puck, and he plays it really well just off into the boards, where some goalies might try to trap that or play it right into an offender who's right in front of the goal.
Now, we mentioned Ian Key earlier, but currently tied for the all-time goalie wins for Virginia Tech. He's got 31, the same as Tony Wolak. Blockers saved by Key. Panthers in the far corner, Welch. Now below the net, back across to Welch. Up at the blue line, Anthony Sasso gave it off to Welch, and it's caught up in Key's gear.
Really good stop there again with the glove just through traffic. Both of these goalies keeping an eye on the puck the entire way, and Sasso was looking for another pass there. Anthony Sasso, sorry, there are two Sassos on the team. Anthony Sasso looking for another pass back up to him at the point so he could rip a shot from there, but they elected to go with a further down shot.
Hokies still trying to clear with just over 30 seconds remaining on the penalty. It's Tulo working up the near side, able to get past the defender. Vieira able to save the shot. Tulo back with it as it's pinned up along the boards. Just 15 more seconds for Ewan Andrew in the box. High Point with their last opportunity with the man advantage. Donahue got tripped up in his own zone, and now both teams back to full strength. Andrew takes it across the line into the zone. Right side just had it poked away by Anthony Sasso. It was knocked up out of play by Sullivan. We'll have a whistle here at 6:52.
And there will be offsides on the Hokies there, as a little bit too quick to get the puck over the blue line.
Lanigan worked it up and tipped over by Campbell. The Panthers recover it, take it back behind their own net, now up the left side. Colin Carey battling against Sean Moore. D'Antona in there as well. Carey lost it across. All on his own, D'Antona, left side. Took a tumble into the boards with a teammate, Valiant. Shot blocked by Vieira. Now Valiant knocked it down, tried to take the shot himself. This one off the body by Campbell. And Lanigan settles it in at the blue line. Campbell near side, whiffed on the shot and leaves it up for Sean Moore. Now back down to Campbell. Look to thread it. And a turnover for the Hokies, but High Point does the same. Peduzzi able to keep it in.
A lot more physical play here. A lot of more bodies getting thrown into the boards for both teams.
Peduzzi, a shot off the toes of Cameron Anderson that looked like that one hurt. And now Ewan Andrew trying to take it away from the Panthers. A lot of commotion as Peduzzi gets it across to Tecray.
Good pick there from Peduzzi.
The Hokies bring in Rice. It's Cam Kazai on the far side as High Point bats it all the way across. That'll be an icing for the Panthers.
And that is a long possession for the Hokies in the offensive end. High Point not able to switch people off because it's an icing. Those players are tired. The Hokies able to switch a couple of bodies off and get some new people out there. They have their starting line ready for this face-off. And High Point takes a timeout there, which is very smart of the coaching staff for the Panthers because, again, they're tired, especially after a long possession for the Hokies that kept a lot of shots on your goalie. You want to give your goalie a little bit of time to rest and also your players time to rest as they have to go back out there and defend a team that's taken probably 4 or 5 shots already just in that 2 to 3 minute period there.
And in addition to being tired, Cameron Anderson took that shot right off the toe. It looked like it hurt quite a bit. He immediately just lifted that leg. You could tell he winced in pain and not able to get off the ice because his team's under pressure.
Yeah, that's always a thing that you never think about when it comes to hockey is when you get hit with the puck, you know it's going to hurt, but you don't think about what happens when it hits your toes or even just the skate, because even the skates you think are a lot thicker. They're really not. They're pretty thin.
Near circle face-off. It was Peduzzi and Bugan. Now Kazai below the net. Peduzzi trying to recover in front of the crease. Taken away by the Panthers. Takray kept it in. Peduzzi now down low to Kazai. Goal line extended, trying to thread it around. Looked for the far post, and just a hair wide. Takray kept it in at the point. That one tipped over by Andrew and back behind the net. Kazai up to Takray at the point. Miss wide to the left. Now Peduzzi, far circle, ripped it. Vieira off the chest. Takray not able to keep it in the zone. And Key will have to play it in front of his own net.
Never mind, I saw a linesman with a hand up, but I think he was calling the icing.
Tulo with the puck, pinned along the boards. Freed out to Takray. Far side shot by Rice, deflected by the Panthers. Now Welch on his own. Takray took a tumble. Key had it caught in the gear.
Really good stop down low. That puck would have gone 5-hole on Key 2 years ago, but he's since worked on that possession there, and he's gotten really good at it. And you saw that right there. He's just able to clamp the two blockers together and just trap it like a claw. It's really good when a goalie can really play with the equipment as well as Key can.
The Hokies now with their second line in. Now was looking for Hearn, had it taken away. Josh Weig behind the Panthers net. Now it's swung to the near side. Joe DiMartino kicked around the boards. And now to Glessner. Now battling for position in front of the net with DiMartino. They finally work around for it. And Tulo racing across.
And there's a penalty being called on High Point.
It's DiMartino away from the puck. That's a tough break for the Panthers, and this will give Virginia Tech a great opportunity to get one closer on the board as they trail by 2.
Hopefully this power play line that's improved a lot for the Hokies can get something done for them.
Far side draw, now it's Takray. Swung it across to Peduzzi. Kick to Andrew, Kazai tried to tip. Now it's Kazai, goal line extended. Out to DeVivo, Peduzzi at the point, back to DeVivo. Took the shot through, Andrew with the backhand. Too many defenders in the way as High Point decided to collapse in front of the crease. Kazai tripped up along the near boards, and Takray will have to hustle back for it as we've got another whistle.
There's another penalty on High Point, maybe? Sorry, never mind. Thought they were going to call someone on that, but they will be having a face-off down in the near side dot. DiMartino was called for roughing there as a little bit of something happened behind the play as the puck kept going forward towards the offensive line.
Hokies get it into the zone, but Cameron Anderson able to clear it. Takray now hustling back to collect. The Hokies with just about a minute remaining on the man advantage. Peduzzi, cross ice pass to now off the boards. The Panthers able to take it away, and Takray will have to go back and collect once again. Hearn up to Tulo. Tipped it off the blade and kicked it down low. The Panthers attempting to clear. Hearn able to collect it at the line. Now it's Brian Rice. Shifting over to the point. Pass off the money to Hearn. Got down low to now. Hearn leaves it off for Rice. Now back up to Peduzzi. Shot off the shoulder of Vieira. Peduzzi to now. And Welch comes up with it, just able to clear it across. And that'll kill off DiMartino's penalty as we're back to full strength here with just over a minute remaining in the second. Big shot on Colin Carey as the Hokies are able to keep it in. And just off the stick of Marshall Campbell into the far boards. Now Virginia Tech wisely defending the 1-on-2. Trevor Kellogg with a nice effort. Sullivan's shot not able to get under the left blocker of Vieira. And High Point with a 2-on-3 opportunity. DiMartino, he had Carey to his side.
That was a really strong penalty kill that we saw from the Panthers there, as they were able to stop a lot of different shots that happened from the Hokies and really slow down their playing.
Panthers into the zone. Solid defense by the Hokies. Stewart tried to chip it off the boards to himself. Just out to center ice, and that'll do it for the second period. The Panthers add 2 to grow their lead. It's 4-2 High Point.
That was a different period than the first one. There was still a high shot percentage from both teams, but it seemed like the Hokies had stronger possessions throughout the entire time. I mean, they had the puck in the offensive zone for almost 3 minutes, and then they had a power play a few minutes later. The Hokies had a lot more looks, but then on the offside, the Panthers were able to get a lot quicker shots on key, and those seem to be the ones that went in. So you might think about how much the Hokies are prioritizing passing from one another, and instead of just shooting on a goalie who might just need to be tested a few more times.
They have been a little bit picky, if you will, about their shots, and they've got some very high quality looks, but you're right, Finn, they just haven't been able to thread quite as many through. High Point has found a lot of success this game, as they have this season. Quite speedy on the skates, probably one of the faster teams that the Hokies have played this season. Usually a lot of teams can't really keep up with Virginia Tech, but this High Point team has done it very well tonight.
They have, and it'll be interesting to see how both teams come out in the third period, because they've been a little bit tired. The second period is known as the long shift period. You have a lot longer time on the ice, and especially with High Point having that really long stretch there, we'll see if High Point comes out tired, if the Hokies can really capitalize on that and use that possession that they've had in the second for better chances going forward.
So far, the Panthers have held strong, now leading 4-2. Join us back in 16 minutes for the third period here on the Virginia Tech Hockey Network. Welcome back for the third period. 4-2, High Point leads Virginia Tech. After back-to-back 2-goal periods from the Panthers, the Hokies were able to add 2 in the first period to tie it up. But the Panthers in purple with a strong showing in the second and a very strong showing on defense towards the end of the period to keep the lead.
Yeah, they played some really strong defense in that slow bout for both teams there towards the end of the second period, where it seemed like the Hokies just stayed in the other end. High Point was able to just control a lot more and take away some really good looks from the Hokies.
Quick shot there from the Panthers. Nick Sasso was knocked into the boards, but defended by Key and knocks that one away as well. The Hokies trying to clear here early in the third. Rice took a big shot right in the corner there from Lakin Glessner as the Panthers dump it in back down low. Rice over to Cray. They look for Kazai. Got bumped. Someone got a stick on it as the icing's waved off. Now the Hokies bat it in, and I believe that'll be a penalty.
No. The puck went up off of, I think the goalie got a little bit of a piece of it and it went up into the netting.
A draw on the far circle. It'll be now and Donahue for the Panthers. High Point behind their own net. Centering pass for Tulo. Knocked away by Vieira. Back to Donahue. Lost it at the circle. Now collected for Virginia Tech. Dumped it down low. And it's Cole Ringstad behind the net. Across center ice and into the zone, but taken away by Virginia Tech. Teo Lanigan was looking up for Tulo, and now it's Ringstad up against the far boards. Another shot there, and on the push it's Matthew Hughes. One-on-one, holds off, spins around Lanigan, and now a centering pass to nobody. Tulo up to Hearn, 2-on-2, takes the shot right to the breadbasket of Vieira.
And that's what we were talking about over in a warmer part of the rink, but we were talking about this during the intermission that we'd like to see the Hokies take more shots. They need to test this goalie a little bit more, as it is really great to look for the best shot possible, but even some of the great ones, the good ones, can still go in and make the difference between that 2-goal deficit and a win.
Kellogg up at the line, kicked it down low. Watchell pinned along the boards along with Glover. Now it's Kellogg off the body of Richard Bova, and Vieira will play it behind the net. Back behind the net, it's Zach Stewart. Watchell took a shot, but defended by Vieira. And now it's the Panthers up into the zone. Andrew Welch. Sullivan behind the Hokies net. Kicked it over to Zach Stewart. And recovered by Glover. The Panthers will set up the offense in their own zone. Trying to take it into the zone is Cameron Anderson. And now Glover will go after it, chased by Campbell. Campbell in front of the net, not able to land the shot. Brian Rice at the blue line, looking to get it through. Valiant took a shot as well, and now it's along the far boards. Into center ice, Campbell. Recovering for Virginia Tech, he'll dump it around, played by Vieira. Brian Rice back at the blue line, works his way over to the point. The tip in, not through by Campbell, and a late shot there on D'Antona.
Barrero still making some incredible saves. I mean, he goes down for that, basically doing the splits to get his body low enough to catch it. Impressive stuff by the goalie in purple.
Peduzzi took the draw for the Hokies, and Rice not able to keep it in along the blue lines. Colin Carey pushed into the near side corner, and then a shot on Drew to Cray there from Michael Yell. And an icing on Virginia Tech here at 16-17. We'll bring it back into the zone as the Hokies look to set up the defense.
Hokies still with their starting line out there for this shift here. Could be very quick of a response going back the other way.
Into the neutral zone, Drew to Cray with defenders in the way, lost his footing. He had Cam Kazai behind him and then took a tough shot into the boards from Joshua Weig. Lanigan played it towards the net off the back of a Panther. And now along the far side, chipped off the glass. Glessner into the near corner, lost his stick.
And they're going to call a penalty on high point number 49.
It's Glessner, number 19.
Or 19.
Here at 15:38, the Hokies will go on another power play.
And they're calling that. You can see DiMartino kind of complaining about what could have been a slash, but it was a clean hit from Austin Hearn that just got away from them a little bit.
We'll redo the draw here on the near circle.
Third power play opportunity for the Hokies, and they've struggled a little bit on it during this game as they haven't been able to get the clean looks that they have been wanting.
DiMartino one-on-one. Leaves it off for Welch, missed to the right. Now Virginia Tech here to push it across. Tulo speeding up the left side. Just got it back behind the net. Gavin now trying to dance around. Now it's over to Tulo. Austin Hearn in the near corner. Holds it off down low. Back behind the net with Hearn. Tulo mixed in there as well, and it looks like we've got a penalty upcoming on Hearn, I believe.
Yeah, Hearn's going to get a cross-checking penalty as he kind of laid the lumber just into the back of
You could tell
Ringstad.
You could tell Hearn was getting pretty frustrated there.
Both teams taking a penalty here early in the second period or third period due to a lot of frustration, I feel. Both teams feeling like a call should have been made their way and then it doesn't, and so instead they take matters into their own hands and try and
behind the Hokies net, it's Brian Rice working his way up in the 4-on-4. Cam Kazai across the line, left it off for Peduzzi, had it taken away. Now it's a 1-on-1. Matthew Hughes had it taken away. Cam Kazai in front of the Hokies net, kicked it back to Brian Rice. Now looking up for Peduzzi. Hutchins able to pickpocket, but it's to Cray to bring it into the zone for Virginia Tech. Going back and forth, and here's Kellogg to defend, able to swipe it away just in time.
Austin Hearn still sitting for that cross-checking. High Point's penalty almost released. That was an interference on Glessner, number 19 for High Point.
It's gone back and forth a bunch of times. And I believe that's an icing on Virginia Tech. The Panthers just able to beat out Kellogg to the puck.
Neither team has seen success in the power play or the penalty kill. Both teams kind of taking the same amount of penalties or even penalties at the same time.
Welch had it poked across the line, and High Point will reset. Now with a man advantage as Glessner exits the box. Saucered up, now tries to play it in the Hokies zone. Back behind the net, and it's over to Mason Glover. Just 20 seconds for Virginia Tech's Austin Hearn in the box. And High Point will play it back. Jack Hutchins on the near side, left it for Andrew Welch. Watchell tried to take it away. Back to 5-on-5 hockey. Watchell in front of his own teammates. And now it's Sean Moore as the Hokies settle in. Kicked up and right off the post, Vieira wanted the icing. And tied up along the boards, Lanigan able to free it, lands a big hit on Michael Yell. And now it's High Point with the one-on-one as Sean Moore defends into the corner.
And that was a beautiful stick lift by Teo Lanigan, able to just get the guy up.
Zach Stewart through traffic, missed off to the right side. And now Watchell able to kick it out to the point. Brian Rice had his shot tipped up and out of play.
And so much out of play, it went all the way over the net.
There's not much space to get it over the back net.
No, we've already seen it hit the roof, and so that had a little bit more forward direction instead of just vertical, but defensively the Hokies have still looked really good. Again, that stick lift by Teo was perfectly placed to stop High Point from getting a goal there.
Shot over the net. Vieira wasn't able to snag it. Now right in front of the net, Campbell had it taken away. He was looking for the backhand. Back to Tecray. Batted it up and across as Landon Albano kicked it down low for the Panthers. Now Campbell giving chase to Albano. Chipped it up to the blue line and was looking cross ice to Matthew Hughes, just a bit off the mark, and the same for Virginia Tech. It's back to the Panthers' possession. Anthony Sasso tried to speed up the right side, but Rice sent him into the boards. Just kicked across the line, and that pass to Ewan Andrew off the money as well. D'Antona thought he was somewhere else, and icing for Virginia Tech will bring it the other way.
You can definitely tell that there's a little bit of some frustration between the Virginia Tech players, that they're feeling like some of their shots should be going in, but they're not. Either Ferrero is just able to stop them, or they're just not getting as clean of a stick on the puck to make that shot go in.
Other than those two shots, Vieira has had a stellar night in the goal. He's made some high-quality saves. Now the puck over to Mason Glover as the Panthers look to push it, defended by Kellogg, took it away. Hesitated, sent it across, a big hit on Kellogg. Lost his stick, he wanted a call there against A.J. Bugan. Now it's Bugan on the far side. Swung it back to Cameron Anderson. And the Hokies defense collapsed in front of the crease. It's back to Bugan in the near circle. Centering pass, batted away by Key. And Ewan Andrew will get it out to the neutral zone for Cam Kazai. He was looking for Peduzzi, just led the pass a bit too far as we hit the midway point of the third period. Sullivan behind the Hokies net. Sped it up to Kazai, who brought it across the line. But now the Panthers with defenders in the way. It was poked away from Nick Sasso. Lanigan got tripped up by Glessner. And now was trying to circle the net. Now in DiMartino. Fought for it for a second. And another loose puck out in the neutral zone. Dumped in, and Key will just swallow that one up here at 9:21. The Hokies still need 2 goals to even up this game.
The Hokies have looked really good offensively and defensively, but it seems like High Point is just able to have a little bit more of their speed come in the form of goals rather than the stick work of the Hokies. It seems like a little bit more of a tortoise and the hare situation where one is faster, but the slow and steady doesn't seem to be working for the Hokies right now.
Both teams could benefit greatly from a pair of wins this weekend, as it's Watchell crossing from right to left, now swings it around the net. Up to the blue line for Zach Stewart. Now near side circle, Teo Lanigan, DeVivo. The shot off of Vieira's legs. That one loose as the Panthers just batted away and able to clear it. Nick Sasso working into the zone, takes it on his own, tumbling into the boards, but Key in the way. Back behind the net, Valiant knocked it down. D'Antona missed to the right. And the Panthers will collect behind their own net. With just about 8 minutes left to play here in the third, Brian Rice landed a shot. But both teams really need some wins this weekend. Crucial matchups for seeding, especially with both teams so close together in the regional rankings. Virginia Tech sitting at 15 and High Point sitting at 17. And we'll get a whistle away from the puck.
I think they'll just slow things down here, just come to a little bit of a stop, or they're sending both of them to the box. Daytona and one of the High Point players, both of them going to the box, probably for a little bit of roughing, 2 minutes for both of them, just to settle things down, as there was a little bit of some fighting and back and forth in front of the away team's penalty box.
It'll be 4-on-4 for 2 minutes. High Point with the puck in the 2-on-2. Kazai back behind the Hokies net, now with some more room to work with 2 less bodies on the ice. Trevor Kellogg along the near side board, swung it to Kazai. The pass knocked away and recovered by the Panthers. Circling back, it was Christopher Cacciatore.
I'd say that was pretty good.
Donahue, far side, swung it around, and Sullivan will retrieve. Now Peduzzi, the captain, takes it into the zone himself while the team brings on some fresh legs. It's Austin Hearn, far side, back to Peduzzi. Takes the shot, swallowed there by Vieira. And I believe we might have another penalty incoming on the Panthers.
That's interesting because it'll be a slashing penalty on number 19, Glessner. We've seen him be called for a couple of things here. He's been called for an interference and now also a slashing penalty. That'll throw the Hokies on a power play here for, yes, a power play. It'll be 4-on-3 for some time, as I think Virginia Tech calls the timeout there. That was Jack Hutchins who had the first penalty for High Point. He's wearing 24, but his number is 44, so it was a little hard for us to figure that out. But he got called for the roughing there with Daytona. And this is where we've seen a lot of games kind of ramp up. We saw it with Ryder, where it seemed like the last the last period, the last half of the period gets very physical and very angry for both teams, either with one team being a little bit more aggressive because they're down or a little bit more tired as well, making those simple mistakes that sometimes get you a penalty. A slashing penalty is not an easy thing to do unless you end up just hitting the hands.
4-on-3 for 54 seconds, and then it'll be a 5-on-4 for 1:06 for Virginia Tech. The Hokies still down by 2. The Panthers were able to add 2 to break the tie in the second period, and scoreless since then. Peduzzi to Rice, back to Peduzzi. In the circle, holds off. Rice from the far circle.
And that was quick. Only 11 seconds in, and a goal scored by Rice. And that's exactly what they drew up during that timeout there. Just a slot right over to Peduzzi right there in the center, draw a couple of defenders down, and the minute that one of the Panthers fell down, I believe it was the assistant captain, number 44, Hutchins. Sorry, I'm a little confused because Hutchins is in the box. Anyways.
I believe they mistakenly released Glessner early.
Yes,
instead.
Glessner. Yes, the captain Glessner should be still in the box. Or sorry. Yeah, Glessner should be in the box. They should be releasing number 24. A lot of numbers out there. Not a math major. So, but that was perfect planning there as Peduzzi took the bite and one of the High Point players fell down to the ice, and that was perfect to send it over to Brian Rice, who was able to shoot right there. And I mean, that was beautiful. Beautiful work, especially because that's probably what they drew up on the bench there right before, as we'll take a little bit more time to make sure the stat sheet is correctly
I believe they're fixing
out
the penalties. Since they released Glessner early, they took the wrong player off the board. So it should be 4-on-4, I believe, for a few seconds. And then High Point will be down a man for a couple extra seconds after that.
Yes. That sounds right, Kyle.
I had it straight, and then all of this just got me messed up.
Yeah. All right, I think they've got it all under control. I think we're about to start here.
So after all that, it's D'Antona in the box for 43 seconds and 1:19 left for Glessner. We've got 4-on-4 hockey. Let's do it. Brian Rice with that big goal for Virginia Tech, able to bring him one closer here late in the third period, just about 6 minutes remaining. Now the far side, Gavin now trying to dance around Landon Albano. Up to Teo Lanigan, tried to thread it through off the left leg of Vieira. Lanigan, same spot, ripped it again, this time top corner. And off the elbow of Vieira. Lanigan, cross pass to McLeod. Lost it off the board, and now it's Virginia Tech with the man advantage for 30 seconds. Ringstad along the right side, had it poked away by Lanigan, and the Hokies recover behind their own net, quickly pushing it up across. It's Peduzzi in a 2-on-1. He's got Hearn to his side and just lost it into the boards. To Cray, far side. Tech tried to tip it in, but Vieira once again holding strong. Behind the net, Ewan Andrew swung it. Brian Rice, and here comes Glessner. Rice ripped it at the last second and swallowed up by Vieira.
Really good play defensively, especially on the power play, which I believe has been released, and so now it is full strength for both teams. That's a place where you see a little bit more of the regular Hokie hockey there, as they seem to kind of adapted back in. The full first line all have points now tonight, with Ewan Andrew with 2 points. And we get a little bit more waiting here, as I believe the High Point coach is just going to ask a few questions and get them answered.
Here with just under 5 minutes left to play, the Panthers with the 4-3 lead. Brian Rice able to bring Virginia Tech 1 goal closer just a few moments ago on the power play.
And we've seen this before. The Liberty game was very similar at the very start of the season, where the Hokies were down 2, and they managed to make their way back within 5 minutes of the final period. It's something that the Hokies have gotten used to in this season, and we'll see it change.
Tulo able to race up and get the icing waved, as that one tumbles up and out of play here at 4:35. Glessner set to take the draw for the Panthers. The Hokies running with Gavin now. They come up with it. And a shot down low. Kazai trying to play it below the goal line, and there's a whistle as well.
They're sending Tulo to the bench, to the box, sorry, for hooking.
Costly penalty for the Hokies, giving the Panthers a power play here with just under 4.5 minutes remaining and the 1 goal lead.
The Panthers scoring 2 goals in the first period and then 2 more goals in the second period. They haven't scored anything since the 10-minute mark of that second period. Having a few good looks here, but key.
Peduzzi on the 1-on-1 tried to work around Andrew Welch. Incredible defense. And now it's Welch in the near corner. Missed the pass up top, and that one got all the way back. Certainly helpful for Virginia Tech here, with Tulo still in the box. Matthew Hughes up the far side. Gave it off to DiMartino as that one's poked away. Now it's Peduzzi with the 1-on-1 short-handed. Tries to send it on the backhand. And Kazai just got taken out there, but no call. Now it's Welch working back across. Matthew Hughes. Believe it tumbled up along the top of the net.
And they're sending Brian Rice to the box for slashing, as he did take a big whack at one of the Panthers' 6 there that kind of was just standing in his way. Again, an unfortunate penalty.
Tulo and Rice in the box for the Hokies. A 5-on-3 for High Point for the next minute, and then they'll have another minute of power play after that.
And that'll take us down to a minute 28 seconds left on the clock. That's not a lot of time for full to hopefully get something for the Hokies. They'll be down 3, or it'll be 3-5 for this set of minutes. That's going to be hard for them, but they have seen Gavin Peduzzi with some really good shorthanded attempts here. He just hasn't been able to really connect on them, so hopefully they can rely on that same thing going further.
Virginia Tech down 2 men for about 50 more seconds at a big turning point in this game. Key able to knock that one back into the boards. High Point taking their time here. Andrew Welch, and the feed in front of the crease knocked away. Now it's Kazai. He's got one with him. Was looking for Takray and not able to connect. Now trying to pester from behind. And the Panthers will ice it.
And they're complaining. They're saying that they got there first, but they really didn't. They're trying to say that I think they might have thought that they tipped it from the red line, but the linesmen and the refs are not really having too much of the players' words tonight, as it'll be 3-on-5 in the offensive end.
Teo Lanigan ripped from the point. The deflection just a bit to the right. Now High Point with a 2-on-1. Lanigan, the lone defender, able to bat it back. Into the neutral zone, it's Welch. Taken away by Hearn. On his own, lost in, and knocked through by Peduzzi.
Gavin Peduzzi with the shorthanded. The High Point player tried to just run into Peduzzi, and Peduzzi just put him down. It's DiMartino again. Sorry, Austin Hearn was the one who laid him down, but they were just trying to celebrate off in their corner, and DiMartino just kind of ran into him. And Austin Hearn didn't like that. And they're actually sending DiMartino to the box as well, because he's saying some choice words, and he doesn't like it. But I think that that's a smart call for the refs, as if you see a team celebrating a goal, you can't run into them, because there is malicious, there's some sort of intent there that you're trying to just break up that play. Celebration, you let it happen, you move along, you keep going with the game. So I think they will be, it'll still be 59 seconds on the Rice penalty, and then they will go 4-on-4 for the rest of it. But that's a shorthanded goal for the Hokies, 3-on-5. As we're going to have,
it looks like they're going to elect to play it 5-on-4 instead. The Hokies with 2 in the box. It's Rice and Hearn. Meanwhile, Joe DiMartino in for the Panthers. Hearn was able to drop it back for Peduzzi, who jammed it home shorthanded to tie the game here with just over 2 minutes remaining. There was a costly turnover by the Panthers to give Hearn that prime opportunity. Takray just took a real tough shot into the boards, and then tumbling down with one of the Panthers, it was Donahue, as Virginia Tech sends it back. 20 seconds remaining for Rice as we head under the 2-minute mark. It's back with Bugan. Across on the near side, defended by Kellogg. Now over and across, Richard Bova and Loda Glessner. We're back to 5-on-5. Hearn and DiMartino in the box here with a minute 20. In front, Key trying to cover it up on the far side, and Kellogg just able to get in the way and knock down Donahue.
Tight minute left here in the third period. This is, again, what I was saying at the very beginning of the third period, or at the end of the third period. where we've seen this before, where they've come back from a deficit to as well against Liberty at the very beginning.
A nail biter here to open up the spring semester. 1 minute remaining here in the third, tied at 4 apiece. The Hokies have added 2 here in the last 4 minutes of the third period to tie the game. The tying goal by Gavin Peduzzi, shorthanded. Into the neutral zone. Mason Glover decides to work back, pestered by Ewan Andrew. Now Gavin Peduzzi getting his stick in there as well. Andrew Welch, near circle, rips one, knocked away to the left. Back out to Glover. The Hokies playing aggressively here in the final 30. Right at the blue line, Peduzzi couldn't locate the puck. Now it's Brian Rice back with 15 seconds. They kick it up to Andrew, speeding down into the corner. Just under 10 seconds remaining as Peduzzi's working there just below the goal line. The Panthers able to take it away here as the buzzer sounds for the third.
And I believe both Andrew and DiMartino will still sit in the bench when we come for overtime. But speaking of which, it's overtime. First game of the Premier League for the new year. First game for the Hokies in the new year and High Point as well. Overtime's a pretty good gift.
An absolute nail biter here to open up the spring semester. We'll get overtime started in just a few more seconds. Virginia Tech able to add 2 in the third to tie the game.
High Point has not scored a goal in 30 minutes, and that's something that's definitely on the minds of the Virginia Tech coaching staff here, as they also haven't had a lot of really good looks on Key. It seems like Key has saved probably a few decent shots, but it might not have even been 10 shots on goal for High Point during the end of the second and mainly that third period. So that is the question with High Point, is if they haven't had a lot of connections here in the third period, is that going to be an issue where they haven't been able to get anything by? Virginia Tech's defense has been really, really strong. And we also saw this same similar line get the shorthanded goal as well. So 3-on-3 is something that the Hokies have already scored on.
It's Lanigan, Peduzzi, and Kazai for the Hokies. Glessner, DiMartino, and Hutchins for High Point. Kazai tied up along the far side. He lost his stick, able to kick it back for his teammate.
The lot gets quiet.
Peduzzi tried to dance to the left. Now trying to take it away from Glessner. Caught up along the side. Cray comes in for the Hokies. DiMartino on the near side. The pass there to him as he's shoved into the boards. Now it's Peduzzi and Cray in the 2-on-2. And we got a whistle somewhere.
I believe they're calling off.
I think it was away from the puck.
They're releasing DiMartino and they're sending Cam Kazai into the box. He doesn't have a glove on, and that's the third time in the game that he's just been stripped of his stick and his glove, and they haven't called anything on him or on the other player.
And now DiMartino's back in the box.
DiMartino taking a penalty for them, as it will be still 3-on-3 hockey, but the Hokies will be down Cam Kazai.
Now High Point with 4 out on the ice, and it looks like they're going to bring one back off. A lot of confusion here to start off overtime. We've only made it through 45 seconds. Face off in the near circle. Hearn tripped up. And a shot there from the point, Brian Rice. It's saved by Vieira.
It's a good response by the Hokies on a call that they don't really think should have been called. A good way to settle everything down and remind everyone that even that if that comes, it's still 3-on-3.
High Point with possession. It's Matthew Hughes. Circling about, leaves it off for Welch. They've also got Bugan on the ice. In the far circle, now around the Hokies net, Hearn comes up with it and gives it off to Rice behind the Hokies goal. Virginia Tech settling in to maintain possession. Now Hearn will take it into the neutral zone. Dances to the right. Now into the center. Drops it back for Rice. Has it poked away. And battling with Bugan, he gets it through. The one-on-one and jams it up and in. A.J. Bugan in overtime.
A costly win for the Hokies is not a way that they want to start their new year, especially coming off of a unfortunate penalty that gets called there, pulling one of the best Hokies off of the ice there. And that goal at the end for High Point comes off of just a breakaway. That, I believe, is High Point's first overtime win and first overtime game that they have played this season, as they will start off the season with a win. Cam Kazai still complaining about some things over, which rightfully so, is that is a very tough thing to happen where you have that penalty get called, especially in overtime, and you're not able to help your team secure a win.
A brutal way to start the spring for Virginia Tech and a fantastic way to get things kicked off for High Point in their first game back since late November. The Panthers take it in overtime thanks to A.J. Bugan unassisted. He was able to poke it past right at center ice and work it alone against Ian Key. Big win for High Point, a tough loss for Virginia Tech. Join us back here tomorrow night. Once again, it'll be Finn and I at 6:30 here at the Lancer Lot Sports Complex. Good night.